If someone had told us that we would both find a sense of home amidst a landscape dominated by rocky mountains, treacherous terrain, ever-shifting weather, and profound solitude, we would have shared a laugh at the sheer improbability of it all. The thought of feeling truly at home in a place so strikingly different from our norm was something neither of us had ever considered. It was beyond our wildest dreams until we embarked on this adventure together, setting foot on the Faroe Islands. And in those moments, everything we thought we knew about the concept of home was irrevocably shattered. Here, amidst the dramatic rocky landscapes and unpredictable weather, we found a connection that transcended any place we had ever been before. It was as if the rugged terrain and the solitude of the islands had a way of bringing us closer, both to each other and to a deeper part of ourselves. Together, we discovered that home isn't just a place. It's a feeling of belonging, of being connected to each other and the world around us in a way that we had never experienced before. The locals, with their strong sense of community and unwavering hospitality, welcomed us into their tight-knit island society with open arms. They shared stories of their traditions, their struggles, and their enduring love for their 18 mystical isles in the heart of the North Atlantic Ocean. In the Faroe Islands, we found a shared sense of wonder and adventure. It was a place that welcomed us, despite its harsh exterior, and made us feel like we had found our own special corner of the world. It was here, together, that we realized the true meaning of home and how it can exist wherever our hearts are intertwined, even in the most unexpected of places. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Faroe Islands. In the Faroe Islands, locals often share a saying which goes something like this: if you're not a fan of the weather, give it a few minutes. Well, after displaying patience for half an hour, it became evident that the initial saying didn't quite hold true for the beginning of our day. Consequently, we opted to depart from the capital of Tórshavn and set out to explore two of the well-regarded tourist routes known as Sólulei, or buttercup routes. These routes are named after the Faroese national flower, the buttercup, and offer a more leisurely way to travel, allowing you to enjoy the journey and the stunning natural scenery without getting in the way of main road traffic. As such, we set out to tackle two of these routes on Streymoy Island: Saksunareit, leading to the remote little village of Saksun, and Tjotnuvíkalei, taking us to the iconic northernmost village on Streymoy Island, Tjotnuvik. Surprisingly, despite our concerns about the rainy weather, leaving Tórshavn led us to one of the most breathtaking landscapes we've ever witnessed. The abundance of waterfalls, the harmonious blend of ocean and mountains, and the dripping wet road created a mesmerizing scenery that left us in awe. As we ventured through one of the many dimly lit tunnels, we held hope for an improvement in weather on the other side. Yet our optimism remained unfulfilled. Before long, we veered away from the main road onto Saksunareit, and at that juncture, we began to realize that the inclement weather was not merely an inconvenience, but rather an intriguing addition to the already stunning volcanic landscapes of the Faroe Islands. Just when we believed the road couldn't possibly offer more, it surprised us once again, transforming into a winding circuit through the mountains. Running nested within the dramatic embrace of the Faroe Islands, we arrived in the Saksun village. Tucked away at the end of the narrow, winding road, it feels as if the time itself has decided to take a leisurely stroll here. Surrounded by steep mountains and encircled by a jaw-dropping lagoon, this enchanting village is a photographer's dream come true. When you wander through Saksun, you'll find yourself wandering back in time. Here, waterfalls often outnumber residents, and their symphony creates a natural wonder that rivals any human-made attraction. It is simply a destination where you can't help but fall under the spell of its ethereal beauty and timeless charm. With the lagoon filling and emptying twice a day from the North Atlantic Ocean, we knew the clock was ticking. So we set our sights on the renowned Black Beach Lagoon, known as Utalona. Planning your visit here hinges on a crucial factor: consulting the site schedule before embarking on this hiking adventure. Failure to do so might make your return trip dangerously difficult. As we ventured further into the lagoon, we reached the entrance checkpoint, where a fee of 75 Danish crowns per person was required for this hike. Consider this fee not as an inconvenience, but as a meaningful donation to the preservation of nature's wonders. For what you'll receive in return is a treasury of breathtaking landscapes that will leave you awestruck. Believe me when I say that nature has a way of rewarding those who respect and support its preservation, with some of the most awe-inspiring vistas you'll ever have the privilege to witness. Continuing our journey along the path, Diana was intrigued by the idea of sipping from what is arguably the most naturally pure water source in the world, flowing directly down from one of the countless tiny waterfalls in the Saksun region. As we glanced to our right, our hearts skipped a beat as we beheld the majestic Getlingara waterfall. It was at that moment that we truly grasped the significance of the persistent rain over the past few hours. The torrential streams of water cascading down the waterfall were nothing short of awe-inspiring, serving as vivid reminder of the beauty that can be born from the most unexpected circumstances. The nearly pristine black sand revealed by the receding tide left us utterly amazed. It dawned on us why convincing anyone to undertake this hike during high tide might prove exceedingly challenging. The simple thought of this entire lagoon being submerged by the ocean was hard to fathom. However, it left us with an unwavering determination to return for an extended adventure, allowing us the opportunity to delve even deeper into the captivating natural wonders that awaited. We were just a few moments away from reaching what could be considered the most isolated spot in the vicinity, Utalona, the Black Beach of Saksun. It was here that the shores of Saksun tenderly met the North Atlantic Ocean under the vigilant watch of some of the most formidable cliffs and rocks. At times, the most profound moments require us to lower our cameras, widen our eyes, take in deep breaths, and immerse ourselves in the sensory experience of the ocean's scent, the rhythmic crashing of waves, and the tranquil hush of the beach. What we were beholding was truly extraordinary, complete solitude devoid of any human presence. It was just us and the embrace of Mother Nature herself. In that very moment, it felt as if we had found our rightful place, as though we were finally home, welcomed by the nurturing arms of nature. After savoring a few serene moments immersed in nature's embrace, we came to the realization that it was time to bid farewell to the ocean and the glistening black sands. As we retraced our steps, our gaze continued to be drawn to the heartwarming splendor of the cliffs and waterfalls, a visual retreat that unfolded minute by minute. To our surprise, the rain finally began to taper off, and after nearly being drenched by its persistent downpour, the clouds gradually dispersed. High above the cliffs, we caught glimpses of the sun's determined efforts to break free, adding an unexpected touch of radiance to our journey. Upon our arrival at the parking area, it dawned on us that we hadn't yet introduced you to our trusty companion on this Faroe Islands journey, the compact yet capable Ford Focus we acquired from carrent.fo upon our late-night arrival yesterday. You'll become quite familiar with this vehicle as we navigate the challenging terrain of this extraordinary place. Time was crucial as daylight became increasingly scarce in the Faroe Islands with the transition from autumn to winter. The Faroese people experienced a staggering loss of nearly 8 hours of daylight from September to December, a truly remarkable phenomenon. Throughout our week-long expedition, we personally observed the gradual receding of daylight, with a loss of roughly 45 minutes. However, as we bid farewell to the enchanting village of Saksun, it was during our journey to Chotanuvik that we fully comprehended the significance of the Faroese weather saying. Our eyes couldn't believe the sight that unfolded before us atop a hill, a sky clothed in mist and clouds, with only a slender gap near the horizon through which the subdued sun cast its feeble rays. It marked our very first glimpse of the sun since our arrival. With daylight slipping away, we wasted no time and embarked on the Chornovik, the second Buttercup route. En route, we couldn't resist pausing once more to marvel at one of the most breathtaking waterfalls in the Faroe Islands, Fossa. It holds the distinction of being the second most popular waterfall in the region, although it feels almost unfair to classify nature in such a manner. Each waterfall here, whether grand or petite, seems to deserve a special place in everyone's heart. As you can witness, the water cascades from a considerable height, forming multiple tiers. Thanks to the abundant rainfall, the volume of water rushing down was nothing short of astounding. Once again, we found ourselves appreciating the earlier rain, realizing how it enriched our experience today. En route to Chotanuvik, our journey led us to pause for a few moments in the picturesque village of Haltajvik. This charming hamlet revealed itself with a circular layout, adorned by a quaint church and an inviting pier. Farther along the road, things began to narrow once more, hugging the cliffside closely, leaving minimal room for passing. Here, a solitary semaphore diligently directed the flow of traffic, as if the village's very existence hinged on this task. As the clouds continued to disperse, they unveiled the captivating beauty of the coastline once again. Down below lay the cozy village of Chotanuvik itself, the northernmost settlement on Streymoy Island. Chotanuvik nestles serenely within a deep valley with no other villages in sight. It stands as one of the most ancient villages in the Faroe Islands. Constrained by time, we opted to make our way to the renowned beach. This involved a careful descent along a stone trail that ultimately led us to yet another striking black beach, offering expansive views of the North Atlantic Ocean. The beach isn't just renowned for its breathtaking views and scenery, it is also a popular spot for surf enthusiasts, thanks to the favorable currents that create perfect waves for riding. Beyond the shoreline, albeit a bit distant for our humble GoPro to capture, lie a pair of untamed sea stacks, Risin og Kettlingin, translating to the giant and the witch. Legend has it that they attempted to drag the Faroe Islands all the way to Iceland. Once more, we find ourselves in splendid isolation, as if perched at the end of the world, a sensation that will soon become second nature during our upcoming days in the Faroe Islands. This serene spot serves as the culmination of our inaugural day of adventure, and with open hearts, we couldn't have asked for a more fulfilling start. It was an undeniably remarkable day. Even the ocean, merging seamlessly with the beach, mirrors the open sky as it accompanies a breathtaking yet all too quick sunset. As the second day of our journey dawned, we were greeted by a familiar weather pattern, much like the day before. This time around, we took it in our stride, having already experienced the captivating beauty and unique ambience that the Faroe Islands had to offer. Once again, we embarked on our road trip, transitioning between breathtaking vistas with every sweep of the windshield wipers. Given that we had some distance to travel before embarking on the day's first adventure, and keeping in mind that you've already caught glimpses of this road in our previous journey, this appears to be an ideal moment to provide some insights into the extraordinary road network we encountered across the Faroe Islands. Let's delve into the topographic map of the Faroe Islands. Although most of these islands are uninhabited, a few, such as Litla Duimun, Tindolmur and Gasolmur, remain uninhabited. Travelers can reach the Faroe Islands through two primary modes of transport. One option is to take the renowned MS Norröna ferry, a massive vessel operated by Smyri Line. This ferry embarks on a journey from Denmark to Iceland, making a stop at the port of the Faroe Islands capital, Tórshavn. It's the ideal choice if you wish to explore the Faroe Islands with your own personal vehicle. Alternatively, you can opt for air travel, just as we did. We chose Atlantic Airways for our flight and arrived at Sørvágur Airport. This charming airport is relatively small and welcoming. From there, you can conveniently rent a car, which we believe is the most effective means of exploring the majority of the islands. For those islands that aren't connected by a road, tunnel, or an undersea passage, there's a network of ferries and helicopter routes that efficiently link the residents and tourists from one island to another. The bulk of our journey, however, was undertaken in our rental Ford Focus, encompassing an impressive 1,000 kilometers over the span of 7 days. Here are some invaluable tips that anyone considering a similar rental journey should be well informed about in advance. First and foremost, it's essential to know that the majority of roads in the Faroe Islands are in excellent condition, with a maximum speed limit of 50 km per hour in the city and 80 km per hour outside the city. While driving, we observed that some locals might occasionally exceed the speed limit, but rarely by more than 10 to 20 km per hour above the designated limit. Given the mountainous terrain, you'll often find yourself descending hills and gaining speed quickly. In such situations, it's advisable to use the engine brake as much as possible, as consistently applying the brake pedal may lead to brake overheating. For one-lane roads, such as the previous Saxonareit and narrow tunnels, there are occasional pull-off spots on your right-hand side to allow oncoming traffic to pass. Please be aware that these areas should not be used for parking under any circumstances. Most of the exceptionally narrow tunnels are equipped with traffic lights for guidance. However, there are a few that do not have this feature. In cases where you have pull-off spaces on your right and an approaching vehicle from the opposite direction, it's necessary to come to a stop in that designated area, turn off your headlights until the oncoming vehicle passes, and then proceed further on. You'll have the opportunity to witness each of these unique aspects in our travel documentary, so stay tuned as we delve into the intricacies of this adventure. Now, turning our attention to today's journey, we've made the decision to comprehensively explore the island of Vágar. Our starting point is Mjóvar, from where we will embark on a trail leading to one of the most awe-inspiring landscapes in the Faroe Islands. Before setting out on our trail, it's worth noting that Vágar Island is connected to Streymoy via a dotted line on the map, which signifies a subsea tunnel. Presently, there are 3 subsea tunnels in the Faroe Islands. Vágatunnilin, opened in 2002, spans nearly 5 kilometers and reaches a lowest point of 105 meters below sea level, linking Streymoy Island with Vágar. Norröyatunnilin, inaugurated in 2006, extends for 6.1 kilometers and descends to a lowest point of 150 meters below sea level, connecting Eysturoy Island with Norðoyar, which encompasses all of the Northern Isles. Lastly, Eysturoyartunnilin stands as a groundbreaking infrastructure project, boasting a length of 11.2 kilometers and descending to a lowest point of 189 meters below the sea level. It connects the Streymoy Island with Eysturoy Island. It's also worth mentioning the Sandoyartunnilin, the newest subsea tunnel still under construction, with plans to open for auto vehicles in late 2023. Subsea tunnels have become a specialty in the Faroese infrastructure, as there are plans for another mega subsea tunnel between Sandoy and Suðuroy, the southernmost island in the archipelago. We had the privilege of driving through all 3 of these subsea tunnels that are already open. However, it's important to keep in mind that each of these tunnels operates as a toll road. Therefore, you'll need to pay a fee corresponding to each tunnel. For the current fee details, you can refer to tunil.fo. If you rented your car from a rental company, there's a good chance that they will handle the toll fees by deducting them from your deposit. So, after we've passed Voa Tunilin, we were welcomed by the glistening rays of the shy sun that started to make an appearance and drift rain away. It was not long until we arrived in Miwawar, from where we commenced our absolutely beautiful hike to Sørvagsvatn, Bystalafossur, and the famous Trail Nipa, known as the Slave Cliff. Sørvagsvatn is the largest lake in the Faroe Islands. As we set out on the nearly dry trail, the wind gradually subsided and the sun's warmth enveloped us. Consequently, I chose to remove my rain jacket and relish the gentle breeze while breathing in some of the purest air in the world. Once more, we found ourselves embraced by the pristine solitude of the Faroe Islands, walking along the solitary trail. The steep hills, adorned in lush moss, and the melodious chorus of the countless waterfalls added to the enchantment of this place. As we continued along the long path, there was a brief moment of hesitation regarding the 200 Danish crowns admission fee per person for this trail. However, a few moments later, we began to witness something that unquestionably justified every crown spent. The closer we were getting to the edge, the more we were slowing down. Everything in our line of sight was so steep that for a moment I feared a touch of vertigo as my eyes grappled with the scene. This place is certainly not for the faint of heart. While perched on the edge, not a single camera in this universe could truly encapsulate the blend of trepidation and astonishment that enveloped us. Trail Nipa, known as the Slave Cliff, is a strikingly natural formation in the Faroe Islands. It's a place with a dark history and an incredible story to tell. This cliff isn't just a rock formation, it's the reminder of a time when life here was tough and challenging. To understand the etymology of the name, we must journey back to the Viking Age. In those times, as a punitive measure for disobedient slaves, the Vikings would cast them off the 142-meter tall cliff, condemning them to certain death in the unforgiving ocean below. Standing at the very precipice, I found it nearly impossible to fathom the dread and despair those slaves must have experienced when cast off these formidable cliffs. At that moment, more than ever, we felt the need to halt and immerse ourselves in the landscape. It was both starkly brutal and laden with historical significance and darkness. In an unexpected twist, the sun chose that very moment to reveal its most magnificent side. Once again, the gentle breeze enveloped us, evoking a profound sense of solitude. In that moment, we had the opportunity to delve deep within our souls and discover our true selves. As we made our way toward the Trail Nipa peak in an attempt to survey the entire landscape, an unexpected deluge of rain began, accompanied by treacherous gusts of wind that forced us to reconsider our options, leading us to the decision to forego our attempt to conquer Trail Nipa. Instead, we descended towards the adjacent trail that led to Bystalafossur. A consolidation awaited us to the right, a splendid rainbow gracing the sky. Sørvagsvatn, also known as the lake above the ocean, does indeed flow into the Atlantic Ocean with a nearly 30-meter drop. From our vantage point near the beginning of the waterfall, it appeared as if one could cross over to the other side, though I imagine this might not be the case following a heavy rainfall. We soon realized just how much time had slipped away while we were captivated by these stunning vistas. We also recollected that we had reserved 2 seats for one of the most exhilarating and enjoyable experiences we would have in the Faroe Islands. So bidding adieu to the dramatic cliffs and landscapes of Trail Nipa, we began our long trek back to our starting point. Trail Nipa proved to be an exhilarating experience that resonated deep within our hearts. We couldn't help but imagine how the landscape might have appeared during the golden hour. Under a clear sky, it would have offered a breathtaking view of all of the southern isles in sight. Arriving at the Surveyor port, we were in yet for another thrilling adventure. Donning our self-inflatable vests and making our way down the pier, we unveiled a speedboat. Despite the increasing rain, we were well aware that this experience was bound to be epic. Little did we anticipate that our guide for this adventure would turn out to be none other than Jor Nicholson, the former Deputy Prime Minister of the Faroe Islands and Minister of Finance.
You were stuck with us for an hour.
Oh, perfect.
So let's hope it will be happy hour. Safety, the west blows up itself if you fell in, because it's take water, blows up. But if you don't, on your right side you have, don't pull now.
Yes.
They should work, they are new. If you fell into the ocean, don't start swimming. That will cool you down. This is the worst source and makes our job more difficult. So just stay there with the nose up. We are trained to take you up. While sailing with speed, please remain seated. But we will stop some places. You can walk around, take pictures if you want to. But while sailing speed, remain seated. We don't like to take you up. We have only done it for training, to take people up. Until today, of course.
Okay.
As we set sail, it didn't take long after leaving the docks to venture into the Atlantic Ocean for the weather to turn extremely windy and wet in a matter of moments. With a total of 7 people on the boat, 5 tourists and 2 crew members, we had a strong inkling that this ride was going to be a lot of fun. As we picked up even more speed, it seemed that I was the only one with my hair still blowing in the howling wind and my face getting splashed by the powerful rain. You could tell I was having an absolute blast in that speedboat. Take a look at how the water splashes against the sides and back of the boat. We were likely going at speeds exceeding 60 km per hour and I was struggling to keep the GoPro steady in my shaky hand. Shortly thereafter, we reached the first stop of our boat tour, the charming village of Bor. Now, I'll pass the mic to Jor Nicholson to enlighten us about the historical significance of this picturesque village.
So this is our first stop. The reason why we stop here is because all of the owners, he is one of them, they have wife from here. So I'm the man that this is the most beautiful. But they definitely have the most beautiful view. Today you can only see half of it.
Yes.
But we will come over there and we'll see a bit more. Fantastic to wake up every morning to this. First time we know about this village is in the year 1350. We can see it written. Maybe it's older. But it's a typical farmer village. They still are farmers, have a lot of sheep. 72 people lives here. They have 80 dogs. So it's a noisy village. They are well known for grass roof. You see, many of the houses have grass on the roof. Back then, of course, they didn't have anything else. But it's very practical. It's cheap. It's thick like this. So it's good isolation. It's heavy for all the storms we have in the winter. And quiet, no noise from rain and everything. So, and the best thing, no maintenance. You don't even have to cut it. But some of the people who cut it, it looks better. And they're very lazy here. I've seen many times they put sheep on the roof. This village is also known for very beautiful girls and women.
Oh.
I live where we came from. As a teenager, we walked out here just to see all the way out there and hope that one would kiss. So I was lucky. One of them kissed me.
Oh,
And I
congratulations.
walked every night out here. Long trip, every night. But what happened? The other owner, not this owner, the other one, he stole her from me.
Oh.
I'm still working for him. Now I'm here. Back then, I learned his wife to kiss. He told me one day that, my wife is a good kisser. I said, I know why.
As we soaked in another entertaining story for Mr. Jörn Nicholson, we ventured deeper into the tempestuous North Atlantic Ocean. Unfortunately, the weather was not on our side, hindering our view of one of the Faroe Islands' most unique sites, the two sea stacks known as Drangarnir. However, we would soon have a closer encounter with them. In the meantime, we approach our second stop on the tour, the secluded and challenging to reach Boar Beach.
This is called Saljak, but the young people call it Bø Beach. Bø, the village, Bø Beach. There's never warm in the Faroe Islands, but in here it's warm because a sunny day, there's no wind, and the sun is heating the stones, black stones, and give warm back to the beach. So a good summer day, a lot of young people with music and party and whatever.
They come here?
Yeah.
How?
There.
How by boat?
By boat. Or drive out either road there, drive out there, and
There's a
walk
trail.
down this way. Get a little wet, but you were going to swim anyway.
Yeah.
So they are having a good time, and you can see they even have a shower.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is also the line between the oldest part of Faroe Islands and the younger part. You can see the difference on the stones. These are more rounded. These stones here are more rough,
Oh, yeah.
just like sticks. The first volcano that made Faroe Islands was in the middle of the ocean here. I've been telling it because I read it 60 million years ago.
Wow.
Many volcanoes came after, but this oldest one was 60 million years ago, I thought. A month ago there was a geologist with us here, and he said I was totally wrong, okay? Because he found proof that it's absolutely not 60 million, it is only 57 million.
Oh.
So, now you know the exact.
Close enough.
These stones here are very hard, and very hard stones break easily.
Yes.
So every year the winter take a bit. So there's no chance for volcanoes here now. So Faroe Islands is getting smaller and smaller.
Oh.
Yeah, Iceland with all their volcanoes is getting bigger and bigger. I hate it.
As we dwell farther into the ocean, leaving the new part of the Faroe Islands behind, the water began to assert its might on this blustery evening. The waves grew in size, but our captain navigated through them as if they were child's play. Splashes of water hit our faces and the sides of the boat, making us feel as if we were on a thrilling roller coaster ride. GoPro's remarkable hypersmooth stabilization system was beginning to falter in the face of these incredible water jumps, as evident from the footage. The rush of adrenaline coursing through our veins was even more intense than what we experienced at Trailnipa Cliff. We then arrived at what is presumably the most famous waterfall in the Faroe Islands, Mulafossur. Being in such close proximity to the rushing waterfall, being buffeted by waves from all sides, made this a truly special attraction that we absolutely had to experience during our trip.
This is our famous waterfall called Mulafossur. This is the second day this summer, no people up here taking photos of this one. It's 40 meters high. This one goes directly to the ocean. The highest building in the Faroe Islands is 41 meter high. And this one is 40, so the building can take a shower here. Until 2006, there was no road for this village. So the people here had to carry everything on their back over the mountain. In This is just a summer job, but in my real life I'm a politician. I've been member of parliament for 31 years, I think. So when we were talking about making a tunnel here, many people thought we were crazy. Use 40 million Danish kroner and 13 people living here.
Oh my God.
Well, for us, this just was water. But in 2006 it opened, and we politicians, we were lucky because this became the most famous tourist attraction in the Faroes. Many people come here just to see it. This one.
The cyan color of the water in this overcast landscape was beyond belief. So pure, so clean, so thrilling. What struck us the most was the fact that the Buttercup route we were about to drive on later to Gassadalur, named Gassadalsley, along with its tunnel, was built rather recently in 2006, costing 40 million Danish krones. That's approximately 5.3 million euros in today's money. 5.3 million euros for 13 people living there. Can you imagine that? The ocean became incredibly rough as we crossed to the other side of the Sorvaksfjordur. We found ourselves next to Tinolmur, the island we believed to be inhabited, until Jörn Nicholson proved otherwise.
This is called Tintholmer. Sorry you don't see it, but Tintholmer in Faroese is peak island. There are peaks, 5 peaks up there. This is private owned, 22 owners. I'm so lucky I'm one of them.
Oh my God.
So when we come back again,
Wonder why he's a politician, you know?
yeah, I got it from some corruption. And we have sheep going here. So tomorrow we will go out and catch them and take the lambs and leave around 45 sheep, and they will walk here alone all winter.
Oh. So tomorrow
Yeah.
is the day.
Yeah, but that the problem is that we don't want lamb to come before May, and the sheep are hopeless. Then, yeah, because we don't want them to make a new one before December. But this year they want to fuck already late October. So we have to keep the male, and in December put the male out there in December so the lamb will not come before May. Fucking sheep. But then the males have a very good time. 45 of them here, and they are only 2. They have 20, 25 each. And they work for 1 month every day.
Non-stop.
They don't eat.
Oh my God.
But they are just...
We were nearing the end of this boat tour, approaching another incredibly popular sightseeing spot in the Faroe Islands, Drangarnir. Drangarnir translates directly to the sea stacks. The most well-known and larger rock formation is called Storidrangur, or large sea stack, while the smaller one is called Litli Drangur, or small sea stack. The sea arch is surrounded only by the powerful North Atlantic Ocean. As we drew closer to them, the clouds began to lift slightly, allowing us to behold the awe-inspiring view of this monumental sea arch. Even the GoPro decided to stop working at this precise moment, forcing us to try and capture this monumental sea arch with our bare hands on our slippery phones. From this, our extensive return trip to the port of Sørvágur began, marking the conclusion of our extraordinary 1-hour boat tour in the Faroe Islands. While this tour cost us 1300 Danish crowns, every single krone spent was undeniably worthwhile.
Well, hope you liked it.
Amazing.
If you liked it, you can write on our webpage.
Yes.
If you didn't like it, don't write anything.
Okay.
Huh?
That's why you're so high rated, I understand.
Therefore, we thanked the crew for being such an amazing company and headed out to our car to rush the remaining hour of daylight covering the Buttercup route from Bor to Gasadalur. Although we were quite fatigued from the day's adventure, we chose to persevere. The tranquil weather helped dissipate our weariness as we drew near to the village of Bor. Even on this rainy and cloudy evening, you can still spot the Drangarnir sea stacks in the background, as well as Tindholmur, the island with its 5 distinctive peaks. As the potent wind continued to buffet the village, we once more embraced the profound sense of solitude that characterizes the Faroe Islands. After sipping the lonely background for a couple of minutes, we continued our journey on Gasadal Slate. After a short while, we arrived at Gasadal Tunnelin, which is the 1.4-kilometer tunnel built in 2006 for no more than 13 people in the village of Gasadalur. Our passage through this tunnel marked our first experience with a one-way tunnel, and the sensation was, to say the least, peculiar. The isolation within the mountain, the dimly lit surroundings, and the lack of a visible endpoint paralleled the feeling in life when you must persist in pursuing your dreams, even when there's no clear destination ahead and you feel a sense of trepidation. Upon exiting the tunnel, we couldn't help but realize that Gasadalur had been one of the most isolated villages. Before the tunnel and prior to the introduction of the helicopter service in 1983, reaching the village by sea was a challenge in itself, given that it perched on a massive vertical cliff. The other option was reaching it by a trail from Bor. Judging by the trail markings on the map, it seemed to be quite challenging, even on a clear day. In the cloudy conditions we encountered, with clouds hugging the peaks, one wrong step could have fatal consequences. Speaking of this, Gasadalur cemetery dates back to 1873, which means that prior to its establishment, people from Gasadalur were buried in Bor. The journey involved carrying the coffins over the mountain from Gasadalur to Bor, which was extremely arduous. To the east of Gasadalur, there's an even more challenging trail marked with the highest level of difficulty on the Faroe scale of trails, Expert. This trail leads to Slatanes, a village that was abandoned in 1965 as its last inhabitants departed due to its extremely isolated location. The profound history embedded in Gasadalur felt as heavy as the descending clouds, gradually enveloping everything in a dense fog. There was little to no light left, so it made no sense to keep recording with our GoPro. So we sat for a few minutes looking over the eerie landscape. The moment we left, like in a touch of magic, the street light turned on, casting a feeble glow upon those shrouded by the thick and smoky fog. It was time to conclude this full day and return to our accommodation in Tórshavn. Nevertheless, we couldn't help but cherish the hair-raising sensation this remote corner of the world had offered us. Upon waking up the next morning, we were delighted to see that the sun had finally arrived in the little capital of Tórshavn. Now, we've been mentioning our accommodation throughout this travel documentary, so why don't we provide a quick preview of it before we set off on this beautiful sunny day. Our apartment, known as Bronx 4, can be accessed with a secure private card. As we step inside, we find ourselves in the open kitchen, well equipped with various appliances for all your needs. We particularly appreciate the coffee filter and toaster, which helped us prepare a quick and satisfying breakfast. Our host, Paul, even provided us with a delightful set of Faroese chocolates and beverages, adding a touch of local flavor to our stay. And thanks again, Paul, for that. The apartment boasts electrical sockets in every room, making it convenient for charging our video equipment and phones overnight. The large windows provide a clear view of our rental car in the parking lot. The bedroom to the right offers a perfect cozy bed, just what we need to recharge our batteries after exploring the Faroe Islands. At the end of the hallway we come across the living room, complete with a comfortable sofa, TV, and a natural shipware for ultimate relaxation. Is the ideal space for unwinding and planning the next day's excursions. Finally, on the other side of the hallway, we find the bathroom. Here, the rainhead walk-in shower is a real treat, especially after a tiring day. The experience of showering with this pure water is simply serene. Now, seeing that the entire day promised to be sunny, we made sure to seize the moment. After savoring a delightful breakfast, we efficiently packed up and headed out to explore the capital city of the Faroe Islands. Tórshavn, the heart of the Faroe Islands, isn't just a capital city, it's home. The Faroese people don't merely call it Tórshavn, they lovingly refer to it as Aun, or home. Nestled within the rugged beauty of the Faroe Islands, the charming capital is like a colorful gem adrift in the North Atlantic Ocean. The city is a perfect starting point for any Faroe Islands journey, offering a mix of cultural experiences and a gateway to the untamed wilderness that awaits beyond its borders. Under the gentle morning light, the serenity and calm of Tórshavn come to life. Despite being a capital city, Tórshavn retains an air of tranquility and leisure. The streets are remarkably free of traffic, allowing you to explore freely and soak in the city's charming architecture and the surrounding natural beauty. Being so close to the port, we have the opportunity to explore it in more detail during this beautiful day. Skansen, perched at the edge of Tórshavn, is like a guardian of the Faroe Islands capital. This historic fortress, its name meaning the fort in Faroese, offers a captivating glimpse into the past. Initially constructed in the late 16th century and later expanded in the 19th century, Skansen played a pivotal role in defending Tórshavn from potential invasions. Today, it stands as a charming and picturesque landmark, providing not only an intriguing history lesson, but also spectacular panoramic views of the city and the surrounding waters. Its iconic red lighthouse, proudly guiding ships, stands juxtaposed with ancient cannon emplacements, a testament to the strategic importance of this site. We were drawn not only by its historical significance but also by the ethereal and serene atmosphere that pervades the area. Skansen is not just a historic fort, it's a doorway into the Faroe Islands' rich and vibrant past, a place where time seems to stand still, offering a connection to the resilience and spirit of the Faroese people. Turf houses, a distinctive architectural gem in the Faroe Islands, are a captivating fusion of tradition and innovation. These remarkable structures feature grassy rooftops that blend seamlessly with the surrounding natural landscapes. The sod roofs provide insulation, keeping their interior warm and cozy even in the harshest weather. The combination of wood and stone in their construction, along with the tarp roofs, allow these houses to withstand the fierce Atlantic winds and heavy rains that frequently sweep across the islands. The relentless power of the Faroese wind is truly awe-inspiring. As you can see at Múlafossur waterfall, during fierce gusts, the ocean's fury is enough to defy gravity itself. The cascading water, usually pulled down by Earth's force, is momentarily pushed back by the sheer might of the wind. It's a vivid demonstration of the Faroe Islands' wild and untamed natural forces, where the elements hold a captivating, almost otherworldly power. Moving along the coast of Tórshavn, we came across a rather peculiar platform. Fiskaplassi, meaning fishing place, serves as a fascinating historical site in Tórshavn. In the past, these fishing places played a crucial role in the Faroese economy, as they were used to dry fish for export, particularly to southern Europe, with a significant market in Spain. These fishing places were strategically located to ensure that the sun's path allowed for effective drying of the fish while maintaining accessibility. The arrangement of stones, spaced at specific intervals, created ideal conditions for the drying process. The activity at these fishing places thrived from the late 1920s until the early 1930s. However, it ceased during the Spanish Civil War. The preservation of Fiskaplassi reflects the Faroese people's commitment to honoring and safeguarding their rich history. It stands as a testament to the important role that these fishing places once played in the economic and cultural life of the Faroe Islands. While slowly exploring the coast, Diana discovered a place that made us feel like kids again. A saucer swing was quite tempting to ride, and we couldn't resist giving it a go. As we swung back and forth, a sense of solitude and relaxation overcame us. Experiencing childhood memories in a place as beautiful and historically rich as Tórshavn invoked feelings that are hard to put into words. We enjoyed it so much that we sat down for a while in this area before continuing our exploration. Time was running short, so we had to return to the car and continue our road trip journey. Tórshavn is an incredible beautiful place, and it certainly deserves a dedicated documentary all to itself. In a short while, we returned to our accommodation, collected the car keys and embarked on our grand tour of the day. This time we left Tórshavn by taking the scenic Buttercup route known as Oičavevur. It didn't take us long to locate the starting point, marked by the familiar traffic sign adorned with a Buttercup emblem. The journey along Oičavevur began amidst a vast field of wind turbines, creating a striking and beautiful scene under the sunny sky. Harnessing the strong winds of the Faroe Islands, the local population is committed to achieving 100% green electricity production by 2030. For someone who appreciates cars, it's worth noting that Oičavevur is impeccably designed, resembling a high-speed racetrack. The long, open stretches of road, combined with gentle curves, make it feel like a coastal speedway. The road wasn't the only impressive aspect of this drive. The landscape became increasingly rugged and mountainous with every few hundred meters, providing us with captivating views that blended seamlessly with the well-maintained asphalt. Our first destination of the day was Sottfjellu, a mountain with several noteworthy distinctions. It's not only the highest peak in the Faroe Islands accessible by car, but it's also the highest peak on the Streymoy Island and ranks as the third highest peak in the entire archipelago. Our ascent towards Sottfjellu took us on a narrow, winding road, and the journey became increasingly intense and steep as we gained altitude. With every meter we climbed, the temperature dropped rapidly, and the wind began to deliver a bitterly cold bite despite the sunny skies. As we reached the edge of Sottfjellu, the howling wind and sub 4 degrees temperature were so intense that the car system warned us of the possibility of driving on icy roads. Even in this howling wind, Diana couldn't resist making fun of my reverse parking skills in this completely empty parking lot. We had little time for laughter as the cold quickly yawned at our faces. But amid the biting wind and dropping temperature, the surrounding landscape offered us its own warmth and beauty. After another amusing moment in which Diana attempted to pet me with her finger, we changed positions and were once again greeted by a magnificent landscape. The captivating views were so awe-inspiring that we found ourselves shouting to communicate effectively. Our joy and exhilaration were clearly visible in our facial expressions as we reveled in these spectacular views. While we wished we could have lingered longer to savor the scenery, the relentless wind at this altitude urged us to begin our descent towards our next destination. It was our last opportunity to appreciate the muscle-tensing drive along this stunning single-lane narrow road. As we continued on the main road, the sun began to shine once more, illuminating a group of cyclists enjoying a ride on these beautifully crafted Faroese roads. Eventually, our car needed a well-deserved refill, and we made a pit stop at Mag petrol station to go through the refueling process. A notable difference here compared to other places we visited is that after refilling the car and before making the payment, you're required to move the car away from the pump. While at the station, Diana spotted some colorful drinks that we couldn't resist trying out. They turned out to be quite enjoyable. Back on the road, we departed Streymoy Island to embark on a grand tour of yet another stunning island that would occupy most of our day, Eysturoy. As we continued our journey, we were once again treated to the breathtaking spectacle of Fossa, the tallest waterfall in the Faroe Islands. However, this time we admired its grandeur from a different vantage point, separated from it by the vast expanse of the North Atlantic Ocean. A few moments later, we arrived in the picturesque village of Ai. The village holds an interesting piece of history, as it was the site of the Lorentz Sea transmitter Ida, which played a crucial role in submarine navigation during the Cold War. Notably, Ai has a strong football culture, and it boasts one of the most unique football fields in the world. known as the Old Ice Stadium. Nestled between impressive cliffs and mountains, this stadium offers breathtaking mountain and ocean views, making it a favorite spot for photographers. Today, the stadium has been converted into a camping ground, and it's easy to understand why. Kicking a ball here could send it straight into the ferocious and windy North Atlantic Ocean, where it might be lost forever. The soundscapes of crashing waves and the tranquility of the old football field create a unique and serene atmosphere in stark contrast to the bustling stadiums found around the world. As we had a lot of road to travel up next, we bid farewell to the beautiful sights of Ai into another breathtaking buttercup route, Iskar. Notably, it is one of the roads that are not maintained during the winter season, meaning that there is no salting or snow removal done here. Despite the challenges, the road offers stunning views and an opportunity to experience the natural beauty of the Faroe Islands. The vantage point on the first portion of the Iskar offers a stunning view of Risin og Kellingin, the iconic sea stack in the Faroe Islands. In Faroese legend, giants from Iceland were envious of the Faroe Islands and attempted to bring them back. A giant and a witch were sent to accomplish this feat. The witch climbed the mountain with a heavy rope to tie the islands together, but her efforts split the mountain. They struggled through the night until dawn, when sunlight turned them to stone. These stone figures, known as Risin og Kellingin, continue to gaze across the ocean towards Iceland. As we admired the awe-inspiring sea stacks and watched sheep ambling down the road, we continued our journey under the brilliant sun. Before us stood an immense mountain with a formidable presence. We soon realized that we were next to the tallest mountain in the Faroe Islands, Slatarantitur. On our way to the next special destination, we passed a junction intersecting no more than 3 buttercup routes, Iskar, Funansley, and Jarlai. As such, we said goodbye to Iskar and entered Jarlai. It was not long until we reached Jaik, the charming village located on the northern tip of Eysturoy Island. The village derives its name from a magnificent 200-meter-long sea-filled gorge that extends from the village right into the sea. We could easily access this natural wonder by descending several stairs. The picturesque harbor nested within the gorge is a popular destination for both tourists and locals who enjoy its stunning natural beauty. Our visit to Jaik left us with a profound appreciation for this village, accentuated by the breathtaking view we enjoyed while hiking along the road beside the gorge. This vantage point provided us with one of the most serene and calming panoramas we had the privilege to witness, making it seem as though we were in a truly extraordinary corner of the world. In the distance, the striking profile of Kalsoy Island greeted our eyes. This remote island stands like a solitary giant and is only accessible by ferry. Our inability to explore Kalsoy in more detail due to slippery tracks and unfavorable weather saddened us, knowing that the island holds a wealth of magnificent landscapes evident from its majestic silhouette. As daylight dwindled once again, we bid farewell to Jaik and Jarley and ventured onto the next buttercup route, Funansley. Along this road, you'll be treated to spectacular views of Funangur, nestled in the heart of the western arm of Funangsfjordur. We were soon enveloped once again by towering mountains, with the serene fjord nestled between these colossal peaks. This created an enchanting journey along the winding road, with the afternoon sun casting its warm glow across the entire archipelago. At a breathtaking panoramic viewpoint, we were treated to a magnificent tapestry of landscapes. To the right, Kalsoy Island stood as a formidable presence, its grandeur though softened by the expanse of Funangsfjordur. Below, the village of Funangur nestled in the valley overlooked by the majestic Slatarantidur. As the day quietly transitioned into evening, we began to feel the cumulative effects of our long journey. Just when we thought the day was coming to a close, the sun had one final spectacle in store for us. It cast its golden light on the steep mountain cliffs before setting. While made our way back to Tórshavn, we couldn't resist the allure of a remote, winding road that beckoned us to explore further. To our delight, this road unveiled a breathtaking almost 180-degree panorama, where the sun's warm hues painted the rugged landscape and the playful ocean with circular shapes, creating a scene of pure magic. As the golden sun bid us farewell with its breathtaking, fiery display, we reflected on the many incredible sights the islands would have in store for us tomorrow. On the next day, we rose early in the morning, prepared for an extensive journey up north. Our destination, Norøy, encompassing all of the Northern Isles. As we departed from Tórshavn, it felt as if we were navigating through the most torrential downpour we'd encountered in the Faroe Islands thus far. The windshield wipers struggled to keep pace with the deluge, but couldn't help but admit that, contrary to popular opinion, we found solace in this type of weather. The rain brought with it a breath of fresh air, enhancing the sense of tranquility that permeated the surroundings. We soon arrived at the Eysturoyartunnilin, the longest and most renowned subsea tunnel in the Faroe Islands. An interesting historical tidbit about this tunnel is that its conception began with a young student from a small village on Eysturoy Island. In 1999, at the age of 25, he wrote a comment in the local newspaper, suggesting the idea of an underwater tunnel linking Streymoy and Eysturoy. The Eysturoyartunnilin is indeed an engineering marvel, stretching an impressive 11.2 kilometers beneath the North Atlantic Ocean. At its deepest point, it lies 189 meters beneath the seabed. The tunnel construction involved the use of dynamite stakes, and the moment of truth came in June 2019, when the tunnel, being built from 3 different ends, finally met. This significant spot is marked by a famous roundabout adorned with an 80-meter-long sculpture depicting people dancing the traditional Faroese dance. As we drove to the other side of Eysturoy Island, the relentless rain continued. Our journey took us through the Norøyatunnilin, the subsea tunnel connecting Eysturoy with the Northern Isles. Finally, we reached Klaksvík, the second largest town in the Faroe Islands. Klaksvík serves as the primary gateway to the enchanting island of Kalsoy. Sports hold a special place in the hearts of the locals, with a remarkable achievement in August 2023 when the town's football club Kawi made history by advancing to the group stages of an European competition. After a stretch of driving, we found ourselves caught between 2 worlds, connected by 2 incredibly narrow one-lane road tunnels. Nested in the deep valley below lies the remote and inviting village of Atnafjörður, the sole settlement in the secluded region. The continuous downpour had turned the area's numerous waterfalls into a magnificent symphony of rushing waters, a mesmerizing soundscape that held us captive for several minutes. This isolation, brought about by the traffic lights regulating the flow of vehicles through these twin tunnels, was nothing short of incredible. In this enchanting place, we were inspired by the thundering waterfalls, the soothing rain, and the pure, invigorating air enveloping the area. It was truly a magical spot. As the light turned green, we embarked on the second eerie pitch-black tunnel, and at the end of it, we were pleased to see that the rain had decreased for a bit, allowing us to gaze upon the incredible remote road we were going to tackle up next. Mulalai was the last of the buttercup routes we were about to drive on this short trip to Faroe Islands. It is perhaps the only unpaved buttercup road, but it is so because at the end of it sits Mula, a village that's been considered abandoned since 2002. Once more, we relished the sense of uniqueness that came from having the road entirely to ourselves. The scenery didn't deviate from what we'd grown accustomed to. It remained magnificent, picturesque, breathtaking, with dramatic cliffs descending into the ocean under the gently drizzling sky. As we pressed on along the road, the pleasing melody of waterfalls persisted, faithfully accompanying us on our solitary voyage. Our trusty little rental car handled the road with ease, whisking us away on this journey without a hitch. The remote route captivated us from start to finish. On the right, a magnificent fjord with steep mountains, and on the left, semi-circular cliffs gracefully bending to the persistent wind. The camera we used couldn't fully capture the grandeur of these landscapes, leaving us with the task of conveying their magnitude. A sense of joy washed over us as a faint rainbow peeked through the thick, low-hanging clouds, hinting that the rain might soon come to an end. As the rain finally ceased, we drew nearer to the isolated, deserted village of Mula. The road deteriorated as we approached, and the wind intensified near the majestic waterfall, instilling a sense of unease as if we were intruders in this ghost town. A few remaining houses came into view. Upon parking, we noticed a sign warning that the water here was undrinkable. The sign bore multiple marks, which only added to the eerie ambience of this abandoned place. Although it was still morning and the daylight was ample, the desolation of the village enveloped us in a cinematic atmosphere. The scent of old, damp wood from the houses, combined with the howling wind, gave us the sensation of being the last people on Earth. Observing the village's abrupt end as a result of its sparse population, we made the decision to venture onward, following a path that appeared to lead to the edge of the world. The emotions we experienced here defy adequate description, a profound sense of isolation in an unforgiving environment. And even with this harsh and unwelcoming landscape, we felt an inexplicable sense of belonging. We meandered through the area for a brief period, embracing the feelings of solitude and drama it presented to us. It's remarkable how the emotions evoked by isolation and the sensation of being unwanted can reveal more about our true selves than a warm and welcoming environment ever could. Reflecting on the lonely history of Mula, we learned of Guchorm I Mula, one of the most renowned wizards in the Faroe Islands. As a resident of Mula, he was frequently sought out by people from across the island who needed his supernatural assistance. As there is neither a cemetery nor a church in Mula, his body rests in the village across the fjord, Viarai. With our farewell to the hunting village of Mula, we hopped back into the car and embarked on the rugged journey back to the main road. Since our arrival in the Faroe Islands, Diana had been on a quest to find a friendly sheep and share a moment with it. We heard that the sheep in the Mula region were known to be friendlier, so she embarked on her final mission to establish some friendship. Did you get it? Friend-sheep? The first two sheep she approached seems more interested in grazing and maintaining the Faroese landscape than making new friends. As I waited in the car, I decided to do some online research. It turns out that waving a bag of some sort can make them think you have food for them. Luckily, we had some chips with us and an empty bag, so Diana resumed her quest to befriend the sheep. To our astonishment, the bag trick worked like a charm. The first fuzzy sheep appeared to be sprinting from miles away, heading straight for Diana, who was vigorously waving the bag in the Faroese wind. The sheep looked intrigued by what Diana might have in that bag, and before we knew it, we had an unexpected gathering of woolly onlookers. What made it even more comical was that some sheep, perched atop the nearby hills, appeared to be thinking, "What's all the fuss about?" And what did they do? They decided to dash down the slopes and join the party, of course, creating an amusing, surreal moment. Diana soon found herself leading a parade of no fewer than 8 incredibly fluffy sheep, with no more than a dozen others observing her every move. As if that weren't enough, she even forged a special connection with one of the particularly curious sheep, eager to uncover the secrets hidden within the mysteriously enticing bag. It was a brilliant adventure. After generously sharing our chips with the hungry sheep, we thought it best to depart before half of the Faroe Islands' Avine population decided to join Diana and her magical bag. As we drove away and glimpsed in the rearview mirror, we noticed the sheep ambulating towards our retreating car. It was an incredibly amusing story and we relished every moment spent along the fluffy sheep. Reluctantly, we bid them adieu and pressed on with our journey. Viarai, the northernmost village in the Faroe Islands, is perched on an isthmus, flanked by towering mountains to the north and south. It's accessible from the remaining two sides, accompanied by the vast ocean. We opted for the more exposed and scenic route leading to the western entrance of the village, and it proved to be an excellent choice. As we drove, we found ourselves once more in splendid isolation, surrounded by dramatic cliffs plunging into the turbulent waters of the North Atlantic Ocean. In the distance, you can even catch a glimpse of the village of Mula. As we approached Viarai, we were greeted with another majestic mountain seemingly protecting the little village called Villingadalsfjell. It is marked as the highest mountain in the Northern Isles. The coast on the north is marked by Cape Enimber, which is the tallest vertical sea cliff in the entire world. Viarai is a village teeming with fascinating history. In the 17th century, a fierce storm destroyed its old church, leading to the loss of a part of the cemetery, with coffins washed away by the sea. These coffins were later recovered in the neighboring village of Vanasund and reburied back in Viarai. The current church, dating back to 1892, has a notable silver service gifted by the British government as a token of appreciation to Viarai's residents for their heroic rescue of the brig Markwood, which has been shipwrecked near the village during another winter storm in 1847. While exploring the cemetery, we came across the resting place of Guthorm I Mula, the renowned wizard from the now abandoned village of Mula. Reading the stories on the gravestones filled us with a profound sense of melancholy. As we wandered farther, the weather underwent a dramatic shift within minutes, coinciding with our walk to a small biosphere nested in the heart of Viarai. The setting was tranquil and captivating. As the heavy rain began to pour, we saw this as a perfect opportunity to capture a time-lapse of an impending rainbow. So we drove to the nearby eastern side of Viarai and tried our luck. The Faroese weather's ability to change rapidly was on full display right there, treating us to frequent downpours and rainbows every few minutes. In the distance, you'll also catch a glimpse of the two remote northern isles of the Faroe Islands, Fugloy and Zvuinoy, destinations we're eager to explore more thoroughly on our next trip. Our visit to Viarai left us completely enchanted with its charm and rich history. As we exited the village en route to our next destination, we noticed a delightful spot we had apparently overlooked during our initial exploration. This serene location appeared to be the home of a duck family. While we can't be entirely certain, it seemed as though the classic Faroese turf houses in the background were their homes, providing shelter during nights and severe storms. It was a remarkable spot to sit and observe the ducks' activities amid the tranquil rain. We bid farewell to the enchanting village of Viarai, choosing the alternate route through the tunnel. This new path revealed yet another breathtaking vista with the majestic mountain looming in a captivating circular shape. As we smoothly transitioned into the second part of our day, the tranquil weather seemed to infuse us with renewed energy and enthusiasm to explore the untamed beauty of the Faroe Islands. Our journey took us across a one-lane bridge that spanned the tempestuous North Atlantic Ocean connecting Kunoy Island with Bordoy. I couldn't help but marvel at how this modest bridge withstood the ferocity of crashing waves during a North Atlantic storm. Before we knew it, we found ourselves venturing through another eerie, unlit, one-lane narrow tunnel, leading us to the remote village of Kunoy, a place that undeniably captured our hearts in the Faroe Islands. As we entered Kunoy, we encountered something that looked like a road on Google Maps. Yet, what awaited us ahead took our doubts to new heights. The path before us made us question whether we had ventured onto a road meant for vehicles or a pedestrian-only zone. With no space to turn around, our hearts raced as we slowly proceeded onto an exceptionally narrow bridge. The non-stop beeping of the parking sensors filled the air as we inched across the slender bridge, doubting whether it could withstand the weight of our car. Upon successfully navigating this precarious passage, we decided to park the car and continue our journey on foot. And yes, that was a road for vehicles. As we began our exploration of Kunoi village, we were struck by the haunting atmosphere emanating from its church. The sun graced the area with an almost angelic glow, and the gentle rain added a serene and captivating touch to the view over the ocean. Sunbeams streamed down through the thick clouds, enhancing the island's breathtaking beauty. Kunoi revealed its picturesque splendor, featuring a mesmerizing landscape with a recurring pattern of steep mountain slopes and rounded valley formations. Before us, a majestic curved mountain loomed, a recurring theme we had encountered during our journey to the Northern Isles that day. We were en route to a place our host at Bronx, Paul, had recommended. It's hard to pinpoint whether this place won our hearts because we initially knew so little about it and had modest expectations, or simply because it was undeniably, breathtakingly beautiful. I'm inclined to lean towards the latter. The Kunoi Forest is a remarkable place in the Faroe Islands, notable for being a man-made forest. Its origins date back to 1914, when the first trees were planted. Over the years, the forest has been expanded with various species of bushes and trees. This effort became particularly important after the storms of 1988 and 89, which caused significant damage to the forest. The forest's long history and age have resulted in a diverse landscape featuring both large and small trees, open clearings, dense areas, and a delightful mix of deciduous and coniferous trees. Walking alone on the forest trails leading into the unknown left both me and Diana utterly speechless. Words couldn't do justice to what we experienced in that forest. It was a place of serenity, teeming with life and purity. I just wish I could capture the scent of pine with hints of orange and vanilla that filled the air, so I could share it with you. But it's beyond words. Not a single perfume in the world could replicate the scent of the diverse mix of trees in the forest. We were captivated not only by the aroma, but also by the enchanting paths and breathtaking scenic views. Despite the light rain, we felt completely sheltered under the dense forest canopy. It was like finding a perfect refuge at the end of the world. You might think we're describing just an ordinary park, but believe us, we visited some of the most stunning vistas in Switzerland, and nothing even comes close to the profound sense of serenity we found here. Within the heart of the forest, you'll encounter a colossal rock that can be climbed, although it's advisable to attempt it on drier days. I gave my best shot though, but found myself slipping back and forth due to the slippery conditions. The rock also provides a spot to sit and take shelter when the rain pours, a serene place for inner reflection and contemplation. Beyond the forest, a trail leads to yet another awe-inspiring panorama, with a majestic mountain sculpted by numerous waterfalls. It was a scene beyond belief. The beauty of nature in the Faroe Islands is truly unique and unparalleled, unlike anything you'll find anywhere else in the world. With heavy hearts, we bid farewell to this enchanting and tranquil place, hoping that one day we could return to spend an entire day here, basking in the embrace of Mother Nature at her finest. As we left the protective canopy of the Kunoi forest, the day drew to a close, and a powerful rain shower drenched us, as if attempted to dampen our spirits. However, it had no chance. What we carried in our hearts was more powerful than any storm. We were soaked to the bone despite our waterproof gear, but every second spent in the beautiful village of Kunoi was worth it. There are moments in life when all you want to do is let go of everything. Your job, your home, your car, everything, just to move to a place like this. A place where there is peace, solitude, gloomy weather, where you can spend the rest of your days surrounded by fresh air, pure water, and breathtaking landscapes. For us, that moment was now. It was the moment we realized how little we need to be completely happy, truly at home. As we journeyed back to Tórshavn, we had the pleasure of meeting up with Paul, our gracious host, to personally express our gratitude for the incredible accommodation he had provided. Paul was kind enough to share stories of his childhood in the city of Klaksvui, providing us with insights into local life. He also introduced us to his latest creation, an accommodation called Lanin, which has just been completed in 2023. Intrigued by the beautifully crafted Nordic house we had spotted from our window, we couldn't resist asking about them. Their exterior beauty was only the beginning, as we soon discovered that the interior was simply spectacular. The house offered a fully equipped kitchen, a splendid open living room with extraordinary high ceilings from which elegant, captivating lights hung down. The bathroom, with its walk-in rainhead shower, evoked memories of the pure rain and water we experienced that day. Downstairs, it was the perfect spot to relax and savor a hot coffee after a day of exploring the islands. But upstairs held even more fascination. Ascending the beautifully crafted stairs, we encountered the first bed, sitting directly on the floor and offering stunning views of the living room. However, it was the bedroom that truly stole the show. We couldn't quite figure out why we slept so soundly during our stay until we discovered the secret: the Jensen bed, renowned for providing the best possible sleep experience in the Nordic countries. The bedroom also featured a generously sized window with a view of the exquisite ceiling and living room. We would have loved to sit for a chat with Paul for a longer time, but he had urgent work to do, and we did also. As the golden sun begins its descent, painting the sky with hues of orange and purple, we found ourselves standing here at the culmination of our Faroe Islands adventure. It's in these quiet moments, as we wait for the sun to bid us adieu with its breathtaking fury display, that we reflect on all we've experienced. Dear Faroe Islands, as we bid you farewell, a wave of emotion envelops us. In every raindrop, in every gust of wind, in the melodies of your nature, we have found solace and wonder. You've shared your rugged beauty, your serene landscapes, and your boundless heart with us. In your embrace, we discovered the simplicity and majesty of life. As we prepare to leave, there's a part of us that wishes we could stay forever, to be a part of your ever-changing skies, your beautiful seas, and your timeless spirit. But, like the wanderers we are, we must move on, carrying the memories of our time together. Thank you, Faroe Islands, for being a gracious host, for unveiling your secrets and stories to us. Though we part ways, your essence will forever linger in our souls, a cherished chapter in our ever-evolving journey. Until we meet again, may your hillsides stay green, your waves wild, and your skies painted with the magnificent strokes of nature. With heartfelt gratitude, Diana and Tiberio.